Hello, everybody, and welcome back to QuipScope. It's the show where we talk about a game that has just come out or is coming out. My name is Ben.
And my name is James.
James, you've been playing Back 4 Blood, which, as of last night, I believe, was released on Game Pass for PC and Xbox players, and I believe is now just generally available everywhere, but for free, certainly as part of your Game Pass subscription.
It's out there. It's certainly out there for Game Pass. Yeah. Been checking it out recently. It's it is a Left 4 Dead, but not in name.
I've played the Back 4 Blood beta when that came out.
Yeah.
And I also played a little bit of Evolve, which was Turtle Rock. Was it Turtle Rock? It's Turtle Rock, isn't it?
Yes, yeah,
their post Left 4 Dead game, which didn't go so well. Obviously, they're hoping to return to winning ways here with Back 4 Blood. The beta was pretty good, I thought. So, how is the full game?
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit flippant just then, saying, "Oh, it's just basically Left 4 Dead." I mean, Left 4 Dead was a great game. Yeah. This is also a pretty great game. Good. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely. I would say they're back to winning ways in that respect. I mean, if you know what you're gonna get with this sort of game, it is like all the promotional material beforehand was all targeted towards like, hey, remember Left 4 Dead? We're the guys that made it originally. Hey. So yeah, Back 4 Blood is basically more of the same, but it's modernized. So it feels a lot slicker and a lot more like because if you go back to Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 nowadays, you'll notice a lot of like monomir, like aiming down sights. That's not a thing. You don't need that. That's just silly. And various different things are like quite dated now. This, you can aim down sights, things feel a lot more smooth, and it's kind of got that almost like, you know, Call of Duty style like sheen to it in terms of like FPS. It starts off like you'd expect, just a really badass like opening trailer showing, oh, here's the 4 survivors.
Oh my god.
You've got Mom, who's like just, I assume an ironic name because she's an older lady.
Karate Granny.
yeah, back off, Grandma. You've got, I've forgotten the other characters' names. There's one, the noob. We're just going to call him the new guy.
Yeah. There's the lady who has like a machete, is there? She's got some kind of, or is it like a baseball bat? She's got like a special weapon.
One of them definitely has a machete, but yeah. On that subject, yeah, you've got like the 4 characters, but you also have, after you play a few levels, you get introduced to 4 more characters, and I'll get onto that like in a little bit because it does seem like they've packed in a lot more to this game. But yeah, talking about the different bonuses and like, you know, one may have a machete. You do get different like bonuses per character now, so that's one of the ways that they've kind of modernized it and updated it, made, you know, added a bit more to provide a bit more longevity for it. So basically you have depending on who you pick, you have like different abilities. You have like you start off with a different like secondary weapon. You can still pick up like weapons in the field, and like, you know, you're going by and you see like a sweet shotgun and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pick that. And then you die and you're like, should have stuck with the big machine gun. Whoops. But you also have cards and upgrades. So like there's a card system. I don't know if this was like obvious in the beta or whether they just threw you right into the gameplay.
You had access to very limited amount of cards, and I need your advice here because when I hear card system, my brain starts to like, I can feel bits of my brain start to shut down because I do not care for card systems at all.
It's like a trigger word.
Yeah, is it well handled in the full game?
Honestly, it is fine. Just don't picture it like cards at all. It's not. It's only like a card, only in name.
So
it's
like
basically like
system,
it's
almost.
A perk system.
Okay.
I suppose the only way that it does sort of resemble like the cards, it's fairly easy enough. You have like all these different upgrades. There are quite a lot of them. So if that's something that, you know, you just want to get in and get into the shooting, that can be a bit overwhelming at the start. But I feel like it may put some people off. But equally, it may add some more, like I said before, like longevity to a game that's, you know, very arcadey still in its nature. But yeah, so basically you start off and you have like a default sort of deck, and as you progress, like you can unlock more things. So it's, a sense of progression there. And it's just bonuses like, extra health or like reload speed, or it can be like some quite powerful bonuses. I think it was like an extra life and a few other things, but you're slightly slower or something like that.
Okay.
But in this respect, like you can pick out a maximum like deck. So there is, some like micromanagement to it, but for each run through, you basically, that gives you like the options of what bonuses you could get in a run through, or perks. I'm not gonna say the C word, the naughty C word.
We can't say that.
But yeah, basically it's that. And then as you play through, the longer you like each mission you go through, you get to another safe room. You get to pick from like a random selection of the remaining cards in that deck. So yeah, you can customize like your playthrough depending on how you want to play, and like if things are like certainly more difficult, or you're expecting a challenge from a certain map, then you can change your bonuses and prepare for it. So it's interesting.
How are the difficulty spikes? Because I found that when I was playing the beta, it would be really easy for a while, and then suddenly, because there's much like the original Left 4 Dead, as far as I understand, there's sort of like an invisible director, which is an AI that changes things on the fly. Certain rooms will be open or shut, or there'll be more zombies here or no zombies here. At certain points, it could bottleneck to the extent where it just suddenly became really, really hard, seemingly out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. I believe the director seems to be the only thing they didn't change the name of for legal reasons. I think they got to keep that part in the agreement, the split agreement.
Left for director.
But it does get a bit tricky. In places. I can't really speak because I was a big baby and played on recruit mode the whole time.
Okay.
Half the time, like, you might see some footage showing a bit of all sorts, but a lot of the time I play, like, it starts you off in solo, and I believe there's a little bit of controversy about that in a minute, because you can't record achievements or make progress in solo mode, but I seem to make progress and it seemed to save my stuff fine, so I don't know about that.
That's weird.
Yeah, but the overall like campaign matchmaking, absolutely fine. Yeah, it certainly bottlenecked still, even on the easiest difficulty. A couple of times I was like, man, I'm close to death. Oh god, I have died. Well, whoops. Guess I'm not cut out for the zombie apocalypse. But yeah, it is certainly interesting in that like respect of like there are the different, special infected. They're called Ridden, so I was saying about like the different names for it. They're familiar enough, so like you'd have like a spitter and like your boomer, I think they were called, from Left 4 Dead, but just different names, and they have slightly different like variations. Sometimes they can just all pile in at once, and it's just oh dear.
Yeah, it all comes down at the same time. Okay. There's a sort of like, there's a hub area, isn't there, for this game?
Yeah.
Rather than just a sort of a main menu, you can run around a little fort.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at that, because I had to like stop playing halfway through. So when you start up, another thing that's worth noting, like when you do start up, it boots you straight to like accessibility menus. Menus.
Well, that's good.
And that's, quite nice. So there's a lot of options there. But once you sort of through the campaign, I had to stop and close the game like after a bit. Went back to it later, and it just threw me up in this fort, and I'm like, what have I missed? What's going on here? But it's a cool little thing. You can access everything in the menu anyway, so it's like an extra bit of set dressing, and there's not a lot of things you can really do. It's not like, hey, go and talk to this character. So that's maybe a little bit undercooked, where they could have like bolstered it up and given some more, I don't know, some more backstory to some of the characters, really. Like,
so it's practically a menu, but you have to run across a courtyard to access a different part.
Yeah, it's a pretty version of a menu, but you can also just use a menu, so it's not, you're not forced into it.
There's versus multiplayer as well, I think. There's like the infected versus survivors or something.
So they call it swarm mode.
Okay.
And I was a little bit is very interesting in terms of like it's that sort of Left 4 Dead thing where you play as the infected and then you play as like survivors and you sort of swap around. Didn't seem to be quite as interesting in terms of like, because I remember, I'm pretty sure in the original Left 4 Dead you could actually it was the whole sort of campaign map run through, and you will pop up at various points in the map. Whereas this, it is literally like a survival. So you're stuck in like a sort of an arena, and it's a very slowly closing circle. You're not trying to progress; you're just trying to survive,
right?
As the survivors. So that's maybe I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't like integrated fully into like a counter-operative campaign, like that sort of thing. But it was a lot of fun still. A lot of fun.
It's just another option, isn't it? It's just another thing you can do. One thing I was going to ask, actually, because obviously there have been a few imitators of Left 4 Dead over the years and sort of the vacuum left by it. One of them was World War Z, which we covered on this channel in its early days. Yes. And I will say, for all the extra sheen and polish that Back 4 Blood had, certainly in the beta that I played, a couple of months ago, it's difficult to put into words. I would say, when I say it's perfectly serviceable, I don't mean it's a bad game. I just mean, yes, it is a co-op zombie shooter. And that's exactly the same way I felt about World War Z, in that has Back 4 Blood reclaimed the crown, or is it really just, at this point, another squad-based zombie shooter?
I feel like it's always going to have that pedigree, because it's got the extra push behind it, and everybody knows, even from the title alone, like it's the guys that did Left 4 Dead. So there is that level. It's very, very polished in that respect. I think in terms of like, I didn't see any bugs apart from like when we had a bot sort of replace somebody that dropped out.
Yeah,
and
AI
they were a little bit. Yeah, they were a little bit just buggy, really. But honestly, it's a lot of fun. Like in terms of, because it is quite an arcadey thing. I know what you mean. It's another zombie shooter. I'm kind of like a bit sort of put off by that, and it just feels very like, it's the most video game kind of thing that you can do. It's
Which
like,
is a good
hey,
thing.
shoot some zombies.
But if there are lots of them in that genre, how do you stand out?
That's it. And I think they are just banking on that reputation at this point. But at the same time, I think it's up there with the best.
Excellent.
At this point. So, and again, it's one of those that you'll have like an absolute blast playing with mates as well. Random matchmaking. I could only do random matchmaking last night.
Yeah.
And that was fun enough, but I think everybody's just trying to figure out what the hell you're supposed to do. Like, it mixes things up enough with like objectives and things as well. But at the end of the day, you know what you're getting into. It's one of those sort of hop in, like get a few mates to shoot some zombies with, basically. And I feel like in that respect, especially with like the upgrade system, it's a bit more incentive to like try and like go for higher difficulties and that sort of thing. It's done really well. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, recommended then.
I'd say so, yeah. Especially if you already have Game Pass. It's absolutely worth a download.
Just get it. Just go and flipping get
bloody
it.
Do it.
Well then, Back 4 Blood, more like Back 4 Buds, because you can have 4 buds, and they're back.
Oh, fantastic.
And you can watch their backs. See, it's clever on several levels.
That's very good. I haven't thought of it. Back 4 Blood, more like Back 3 Blood, because it's like the third game.
Man,
really.
I was just thinking that. Oh, you took the words out of my brain.
Bam.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've got nothing to answer to that. That's exactly what I was going to say. Well,
Nailed
we are. If you're getting Back 4 Blood, of course, let us know in the comments. And we'll be back very soon with another QuipScope. Until next time, take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.